What is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video on my sports Gematria. In this video, I'm going to go over some basketball games for Tuesday, April 12th, 2022. I'm going to show you highlights of each side, and it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And I wish you guys the best of luck on all your picks today. Let's go ahead and get into the games. We are going to be looking at Cavaliers versus the Nets and Clippers versus the Timberwolves. On this side of the screen is what I call my daily numbers, date numerology, Gregorian Hebrew calendar. And on this side of the screen is what I call my game numbers, numbers specific to the game. The way that I have it structured here is I have the coaches, the road team up top, their coach's record, their season record, their road record, any other notes. The all-time head-to-head record between the two teams in the middle, including this season. And at the bottom is the home team, their season record, their home record, any other notes I want to add, their coach's all-time record. Now, these are play-in tournament games, so I don't have the all-time head-to-head playoff records between the two teams because they're counted as their own separate stat. So regular season is counted as regular season, playoffs is counted as playoffs, and then the play-in tournament is counted as their own play-in tournament stats. So I don't have like the playoff record for the coach or the playoff record for the teams or the playoff head-to-head between the two teams. Because these aren't the playoffs just yet. These are the play-in tournaments. And so I'll add those later, whoever is able to advance into the actual playoffs for this weekend. All right, so let's get into it. Let's go ahead and start with the first game here and get a bigger screen going. So we'll start with the Cavs versus the Nets. I'll go over the home team. The Nets, I'll show you some numbers here that will allow them to win this game. And then I'll go over the road team, the Cavaliers. I'll show you some numbers that will allow them to win this game. So starting with the Nets, if the Nets were going to win this game, one thing that you can point to is today we'll have 58 date numerology on the Gregorian. 58 written out sums to 115. Nets come into this game sitting on 115 all-time head-to-head losses against the Cavaliers, where they can stay with the win. Nets would pick up their 89th all-time head-to-head win against the Cavaliers. Today is the 11th day of the Hebrew religious calendar. 89 mathematically, number 89, is the 11th Fibonacci number. It's also the 24th prime number. And if you write out the number 24, it sums to 167. And this is the Nets coach's 167th all-time game for his career. 167 mathematically is the 39th prime number. And the Nets could become 21-21 at home for this season with a win. 21 written out sums to 39. It also sums to 42. And this is the Nets' 42nd home game for this season. The Cavaliers, they would pick up their 39th loss for this season. And they would also get their 23rd road loss. I'm thinking here. Oh, yeah, that's right. Today doesn't have 39 date numerology, but it does have 22 date numerology. 22 sums to 39, just like 21 sums to 39. 22 also sums to 42, and 39, just like 21, sums to 39 and 42. Coach's 167th all-time game, the 39th prime. 89, the 24th prime. 24 sums to 167, the 39th prime. Cavaliers can get their 39th loss for the season, and they can get their 23rd road loss today with 22 and 38 date numerology on the Gregorian. 23 sums to 163, the 38th prime number. The Nets could finish the Cavaliers for the season 4-1. Head-to-head for the season, 4-1, like 41. Today has 41 date numerology on the Hebrew Civil. It's also the 11th day of the 8th month on the Hebrew Civil, like 118. 41 written out sums to 118. And I think that's about all I have for right now for the Nets. One last thing for the Nets. It's the 83rd game for the Cavs, 83rd game for the Nets. 83 is the 23rd prime number. That could also be another reason why Cavs get their 23rd road loss in their 83rd game, the 23rd prime. But written out 83 sums to 67. So sums to 167. And it could be a reason why the Nets coach in his 167th all-time game sits on 67 losses with a win. 167, 67, 83rd game, 83 written out, sums to 67, 167. So that would be for the Nets to win this game. If the Cavaliers were going to win this game and bump the Nets to their second play-in game on Friday, if the Cavaliers were going to go ahead and win, today does have 158 date numerology on the Hebrew civil side of the calendar. Cavaliers coach could get his 158th all-time win for his career. He would become 158, 229, and mathematically 229 is the 50th prime number. And I say that because Nets would fall 3-2, like 32, head-to-head against the Cavaliers for this season with the loss. And 32 sums to 158 and 50. And that's what the coach would be for the Cavs is 158, 229, 229, the 50th prime number. Nets would fall 3-2 head-to-head against Cavs, like 32. 32 sums to 158 and 50. Today does have 22 date numerology on the Gregorian. 22 sums to 39 and 42. It could be Nets that get their 39th loss for the season in their coach's 167th all-time game, 167, the 39th prime number. The Nets would get their 22nd home loss to go with. 22 sums to 39. Cavaliers would sit on 22 road losses with the win. And then Cavs would sit on 38 losses for the season with the win instead of the Nets. And today with 38 date numerology, 38 written out sums to 68. And the Nets coach can get a 68th all-time loss as Cavaliers sit on that 38. And then you throw in the 22 and the 22, the 39, the 167, the 39th prime. It could go bad for Nets. I guess so, just depending on injury report. I would look at injury report for this game. Who's playing for the Cavs? Is there any injuries for the Cavs? Who's playing for the Nets? Are there any injuries for the Nets? But both sides have their numbers, their narrative for it. So I wish you guys the best of luck on that one. Let's go ahead and go to the Timberwolves and the Clippers. Timberwolves and the Clippers. Start with the home team, the Timberwolves. I'll show you some numbers for the Timberwolves to win, and then we'll go over some numbers for the Clippers to win. So starting with the Timberwolves, if the Timberwolves were going to win this game, kind of similar to this game up here with the 83 numbers. This is Timberwolves' 83rd game for the season. This is Clippers' 83rd game for the season. If you write out the number 83, it sums to 167. And also 83 mathematically is the 23rd prime number. Timberwolves can sit on 67 all-time losses against Clippers with a win as they become 2-3, like 23 head-to-head against Clippers for this season with a win. Timberwolves, this is the 11th day for the Hebrew religious side of the calendar, the 11th day. If you write out the number 11, sums to 63 and 27. And Timberwolves can get their 27th home win as their coach gets his 63rd all-time win for his career, 63 and 27. Timberwolves will become 27-15 at home, sitting on 15 losses as they get their 47th win for the season. 47 is the 15th prime number. Clippers, they would get their 41st loss for the season to end it Today with 41 date numerology on the Hebrew civil, the 11th day of the 8th month, like 118, and 41 written out sums to 118. And then the last thing I would say that would go against the Clippers would be their coach. He can potentially pick up his 75th loss all time as a coach for Clippers. And this is the season that's celebrating the 75th anniversary. So that could be it for them if they want it to be. And then for the Clippers, if the Clippers were going to win this game, let's look at the Clippers here. Today is the 12th of April, 4/12 or 12/4. Timberwolves coach. It's his 124th all-time game for his career. Today with 38 date numerology on the Gregorian, 12/4, 4/12. And Timberwolves coach could become 62 all-time in his 124th all-time game with the loss. 62 written out sums to 38. 38 also written out sums to 68. And Clippers can get their 68th all-time head-to-head win against the Timberwolves. They would become 58-68 all-time head-to-head against the Timberwolves with the win. Today with 38 and 58 date numerology on the Gregorian, 38 written out sums to 68. They'd become 68-58 all-time. Instead of Clippers getting their 41st loss for the season, 41 sums to 118. It being the 11th day of the 8th month, a day with 41 date numerology on it. It could be Clippers that becomes 4-1, like 41 head-to-head against the Timberwolves for the season with the win. And then from the Timberwolves side, they would fall 1-4, like 14. And Clippers would get their 43rd win, the 14th prime number, as they sit on 40 losses. And 14 written out sums to 40. And I think that's it for right now. 58 date numerology, 58 sums to 61. 61, the 18th prime. Clippers can get their 18th road win. But as I say that, 58 also sums to 47. Could be a reason why Timberwolves get their 47th win for the season. So those are both sides for you on both games, Clippers and Timberwolves, the Nets and the Cavaliers. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this gives you some insight to the games, gives you an idea of what's going on. If you already have a decode, if you already have a decode, maybe this helps you add some stuff to it. Or if you don't have one, maybe this helps you get started on one. I really wish you guys the best of luck in your picks on these matches. I'll see you in the next video for Wednesday. And I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you again. And I wish you the best of luck. Hopefully you win all the money in the world.